Alright, hey guys, this is another follow-up video on the elevators, and these were the two shown in the last video. That's a new one, and all 5 of those are new. And these are just kind of steps that I've been taking towards improving it. So, in the last video, as I said, this is my first prototype, kind of, and it somewhat worked. Actually worked pretty well for first try. And the problem with this was floor entrances were on varying sides. These two were on this side, these two were on this side. And the top floor did not work because the way the top pistons work requires the entrance to be up here. And it's just a different, it's different. and And so one of my biggest problems, and so I improved it, this was my second one, and the biggest problem I had with it is that this entrance on the third story looked funny. On these entrances, this is all you would see, but on this entrance, this is what would happen. So I came over here, and I flipped those pistons around, and I changed the position of the entrance to be here, rather than here. And the problem I ran into now was that this was 14 blocks. I was asking the pistons to push 14 blocks, they won't do it, they'll only push 12. So I ran into that problem. So I decided 9 blocks per story was kind of a funny measurement anyway, so I went down to 6. As far as I know, with my design, having a brick slab and then 2 empty blocks and then another brick slab, the floors have to be multiples of 3 apart. I could be wrong, but it takes so long to edit one of these, even in really small ways, so I didn't really want to mess with it. But so these are 6 blocks apart, which is it's a lot smaller, and all the entrances look the same. All you'll see is 2 brick slabs to stand on, one to go up, one to go down, and then a stone wall behind it once it's done. So this was the one I made, and you'll notice there's none of these crazy arches anymore, and that all the inputs from the buttons get to the circuits by this point. And that's important because that means now I can move these pulse extenders wherever I want to. And so looking at this, I decided it's really deep, and that could take up space in a practical setting, but what I do have is underground space, so I decided to try and move these underground. And so that's what I did, and I had 3 floors because there's 3 extenders. So I had this one here, then another one another layer down, then another one another layer down. And these were honestly really hard to position like this because this torch, if it was underneath any redstone, it would activate it. So you'll notice this torch is under a repeater. This stuck now. This torch, where is he? There he is under just grass in a loop of redstone, and this one is under this other torch to make sure they don't activate anything. And so this is what I thought would be my final product, and so I went ahead and closed everything up, and then what I noticed is that over here these 3 could be kind of chopped off, and I could scooch everything 1 block over, and that's what I did over here. And so the final dimensions for this one are 32 high, 10 wide, and then 17 deep got cut off by copy and pasting this elevator. And when I looked back after completing that one, when I looked back, I noticed that this elevator is actually pretty deep already without the pulse extenders, and that about here is about half of it. So if I could just put this half on a single layer underneath as opposed to 3 different layers, then I could probably save even more space. And that's what this is. That doesn't count. That's leftover that I haven't deleted yet. This is the elevator itself, and you'll notice that all 3 pulse extenders are on 1 floor now, and they don't take up any more space than the elevator already does. pretty much. The elevator takes up to about here, so that's like 3 more blocks, but the clock is here, so it's about 2 more blocks deep, which isn't bad at all, and then it's about 3 blocks taller, or I don't know, extends 3 more blocks into the ground, and wiring this was very difficult. Trying to keep it compact was a lot harder than I thought, as it always is. So the final dimensions for this 4-story elevator with a difference of 6 blocks between stories is 27 high, 10 wide, and 16 deep. And that's about as small as I can get it. I don't think there's anything else I could really do to make it smaller. I'm sure maybe if I tried hard enough I could squeeze it in 1 more block, but I'm done with this project. That's about as small as I'm willing to even try to get it to go, and it works. Works just like the one in the last video. One small bug I ran into is that if you notice right here, the wiring goes past this piston, and before it was a block higher. The redstone was sitting on top of this block instead, but pistons have a glitch that if in that certain situation where that redstone's being powered, that piston will stay extended until there's a block update, and that causes the elevator to go off and change, and it starts pushing blocks out of the elevator. Huge mess. It's not good. So here, by a bit of luck, the pulse that goes through here extends the piston, and right before the elevator starts ticking, there's enough delays in this wire that the piston will unextend before then, and it won't affect the elevator. So, and that's just on this floor with this button. Any other button on any other floor doesn't have any redstone messing up or interference with other redstone and stuff. So overall I'm pretty pleased with it. I think those are pretty good dimensions to have it compacted into, and I think this could actually probably be used in a server or such. Well, not a current server, because as I said in the last video, the one problem I'm running into is that there's no more blocks to be used in these elevators anymore, as I'm running Minecraft 1.1, because that's where that's the last update these invisible blocks were in. The only current alternative that might be, oh well, I don't have it, or no, I do have it. Where is it? There it is. The only alternative that could be used is open fence gates, but they are now extremely fidgety. Whoops, wrong. With block updates closing them and such, and they have to stay open, which is very hard to do on a normal elevator, like that one all the way over there. Ah, darn it. Like this one all the way over here, I figured out how to get it. I think the fences to stay open on the way down. But getting them to stay open the whole time is a challenge. Oops, how do I stop? There we go. Is a challenge, and that's just with that elevator. When I'm dealing with this elevator over here, there's a lot more redstone, there's a lot more block updates, there's a lot more pistons, and I'm not even close to dedicated enough to try and figure out how to keep fence gates open the entire time. So hopefully if there's ever an addition of another kind of block, or if fence gates get changed, or if there's ever a way to do this in the current Minecraft version, which is 1.2.5, I'll try and make a schematic of this in that format, and I'll release it. Yeah, thanks for watching. It's kind of amazing to look at all these elevators, because I started off just trying to get 2 elevators to work at once in unison so that you could move more than 12 blocks up with this, and it's it's kind of cool to see how far, darn it, I've been able to bring this concept to where now there's a 4-story elevator that moves you a total of 18 blocks, and it has buttons to go to each floor. So, thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye.